Hey folks, my name is Promise, and welcome to one of the most interesting and ambitious city builders I've played in a while. This is Memoriopolis, a game that just entered into early access last week. And on face value, this looks like a pretty standard city builder, maybe a bit more Roman themed, but pretty cool. In reality though, it's a little bit more complicated than that. A lot of the city's development actually will happen organically. You're not going to be placing down roads and zoning and stuff on your own. Instead, you'll be striving to gather up enough resources to build structures and services that will meet the needs of your people in the various different political or cultural factions, while also guiding your city throughout the ages. I mean, imagine something like Civ, or maybe even the Anno franchise, where you literally will transcend between different time periods, and that's exactly what's going to happen as your city evolves right before your eyes throughout the ages of human history. If that all sounds a little bit overwhelming, don't worry, that's why I'm here to show it off for you. Let's start up a new game. The first thing you'll have to do is choose your origin culture. They're all good choices, but they obviously do different things and are a little bit easier to understand. Craftsmen, I mean, sure, just more resources is pretty good. Traders for extra passive income from caravans. Strategists to reduce the chance of disasters in your city, like fires or plagues. The politician to get extra decrees that are cheaper to operate, which you will understand later. Philosophers to make your people happier, and priests to get random goodies from your people. I'm gonna try playing with the politician. Sounds more complicated, but could be pretty good. Then we get to design our own coat of arms. Very manor lords. I'm gonna name my city Brigantum. It's one of the random choices. Sounds good, and I can pronounce it. And you can actually design a fair bit with this coat of arms. There's a lot of customization involved. But I don't need to get too complicated, this should do fine. Alright, jumping into the actual game, we have to choose a starting location for our city, and there are a few presets that are recommended. In this version of Early Access, I think there is only one map that is available, but we'll build around it. The one that is most recommended is right here in Riverside, and this is the one we are going to go with. Though basically any of them are viable, they just change some of your starting resources, and there are a few things you're going to want. Look for a location that has plenty of trees nearby, preferably some mountains so you can get some stone, and it would be nice to be close to a source of water for sand and clay. That's kind of why this location, I think, is considered to be fairly optimal, so we'll go ahead and place down here. Now, you may be wondering, what are these weird little symbols next to my camp? Those represent the roads, and you can kind of see the corresponding symbol and where things will connect. I can't place down roads myself, but I can somewhat control where they're going to show up. So we'll do something kind of like this, I think. This should be fine. All right, this begins the Age of Antiquity. Now, the first thing I want to point out is that you are on the clock in this game. Let's go ahead and pause and look in the bottom right. There are going to be 1,250 cycles in this particular age. A cycle is not a year, it's just any unit of time. But basically, think of it kind of like turns, right? And that's going to progress naturally as you play the game. Then you will be automatically progressed into the next age. So this functions a little bit like a time limit to finish as much as you can in the Age of Antiquity before you move on. In that way, this game actually becomes a little bit more of a puzzle city builder than you might expect, because it's kind of a matter of optimizing your build order to get the most score possible and set yourself up for a successful age. We'll have a chance to look more at that later. For now, what is our immediate goal? Well, the game is saying we want to upgrade our ancient camp to level 2. Most buildings in this game can be upgraded in some way, though of course at a cost. In this case, I need a population of 90 and some extra resources, all very doable. Speaking of resources, let's take a look at the top. We have our food, which is produced from farms. We also have wood, and you can see by hovering on this, it actually does show me all of the nearby sources, which is a very nice feature. Same thing here with stone. We can see the clay up here, some sand, and I don't know where precious stones are. I don't even know if they're on this map now that I think about it. Yeah, I don't see them anywhere. I'm going to assume this is not a part of early access yet. We also will have gold, which is mostly generated from taxes and trade. We have blueprints to unlock new buildings, and then an overall population of inhabitants, and then workers. 20% of your inhabitants will become workers. And also wanderers, people who can move around and integrate into your society if you have space and a lot of attractiveness. There's more, but for now, that's all you need to know. Let's go ahead and start placing down some of the basics. I want to get some farms. Now notice this radius around the city center. This is your zone of security. You can only place buildings in this circle, which is why its placement is so important. I'm going to be intentionally placing the farm right on the outskirts of my current city because I want to take up as little space as possible and have lots of room for farms. So right here should be fine. Notice this has something called attraction. In this case, it's in the negative. Basically, what this means is people will try not to build their homes next to a farm, which makes sense. You want to have as much space as possible. Though this could also be impacted by things like, let's say lots of industry buildings, or sometimes you're going to have cultural and service buildings that boost your attraction. And that's a way of kind of guiding what direction your city is going to start to urbanize. For now, this is fine. Let's also get some logs. I want a cutting camp over here. And you can see by placing this up in this direction, we can get pretty much as many logs as possible. This is not an infinite resource. It will eventually exhaust itself, but this will do the job. Also, I want to get some stone. Now, here's a thing you may notice. Oh, your radius isn't immediately close to some mountains. Well, we got a fair bit of stone to enjoy down here, and this would do the job. Let's suppose I wanted to place up over here, though, right? And it's like, well, I can't get the stone. It's out of range. There's a way around this. So if we actually go to our blueprints, which is kind of like our research tree, you can see that we have a number of different buildings that we can unlock, including some upgrades, and these are going to cost me those blueprints I was talking about. One we can get is a surveyor's cabin. This is actually free to encourage you to come to the research screen, and what this is going to function as is a small range extender. So if I place this over here, for example, we could still access these mountains. Now, funnily enough, you can't place this in the range of your city, and it can't be wherever you want. The radii of the two circles has to touch. So this would work, but this would not, right? So if I were to place one of these up over here, we would be able to start accessing some of this stone. And for the sake of demonstration, I will go ahead and do this, though placing a quarry down over here would have been equally viable. Now, it's going to take a few cycles to build all of this. In the meantime, you can see that as our inhabitants start to move in, they are building some homes with their own little backyard gardens. Now, these gardens and stuff will naturally get overridden as the homes start to urbanize. What will not change are these little roads. Again, I can't place them myself, but I also can't place anything on top of these roads. Once they're down, that is it. So that sometimes ends up being kind of limiting for you. Anyway, there's the surveyors. Let's go ahead and get my quarry, and if I place it up over here, I've now got access to plenty of stone. The quarry can work 3 resources, sand, clay, and stone. I only want stone here, but you can imagine we will eventually have these up in this location as well, which is kind of why I wanted to place these surveyors' cabins, because I want to start working my way over toward this little pond lake thing. All right, farms are down. What's going to immediately start to happen is it will start placing some fields down on its own, as you are seeing here, and as these get placed, we will see our food production start to go up. I do want to get a second farm once I have some extra stone to work with, and enough population. You tend to need 2 farms to sustain your early growth. Now, if this is feeling a little slow, don't worry, you can increase the game speed up to 2 times speed. Funnily enough, I've seen in the Steam forums the developers saying, the game wasn't really designed for people to play at 2 times speed. And it's like, guys, what do you think people are going to do? Of course they're going to play on 2 times speed. How many city builders have I played? I guarantee you people are going to do it. Come on. Anyway, we'll go ahead and place this over here like so. I may end up deciding to get rid of these farms at some point and relocating them further away if I'm getting cramped on space, but for now this will do fine. Our economy is doing great. Once we have enough people, in this case I need 90, we will upgrade this city center. Your population goes up from immigration every cycle, so as long as you have enough food and enough space and enough attractiveness, we'll be fine. I keep talking about attractiveness. The city camp does actually provide some. We can see the filters right here to see exactly what our attractiveness is looking like. And again, it's not like it's a deal breaker if you have something ugly in your city. It just kind of dictates where people want to build their houses. So I don't want to build near the farm, not because the farm is an eyesore, it just makes sense to place close to the center. Anyway, we have enough resources. Let's go ahead and get that upgrade now. That'll take 10 more cycles. Looking good so far. Boom. Okay, we now have a fortified town. This is going to get me some extra cultural buildings that we can now unlock at the research screen using blueprints. And if we want to get more blueprints, we need to get ourselves an architectural office. We also now have access to 5 satisfaction levels in our city. That is going to be health, safety, belonging, esteem, and creativity. The higher these are, the more efficient your city is going to be in some way. The lower they are, the more likely you're going to have some sort of a disaster. Low health can lead to, let's say, a plague, right? That sort of thing can happen. We can actually see all the individual benefits we are getting right now from our satisfactions, so you really want to keep this high. Anyway, let's go to our blueprints. We are going to go to our cultural area and find something we want to build, such as a ceramics workshop. This is going to cost me 500 blueprints. But we'll build up our production culture in our city. We haven't talked much about culture yet, but you will see. This has a lot of attractiveness value to it, so people want to build close to a ceramic workshop. Maybe I'll place this over here and try to prevent the farms from encroaching too much more on my land. Now, with this, we're going to be boosting up some of our health satisfaction. We could also choose to boost up safety, belonging, esteem, and creativity. For ceramics, I think it makes sense to go for like some creativity and stuff like that. It's just going to, get you little extra boosts. Every one of these culture buildings can have some extra effects. It doesn't have to only affect one thing at a time. So choose whatever you think you're going to need. Now, what is this? This I actually haven't seen before. A surprising land. We found ruins? Interesting. Okay, if we were to repair this, I guess something good would happen? Huh, okay. Well, I'll keep this around. If I get some clay, that could be good. Anyway, now we have reached Chapter 3 by building that culture building. We have access to service buildings. We can now go for trade routes or warehouse storage. Also, I'd like to note that our housing is automatically clustering together in little districts, as you can kind of see here by how I'm able to select them. You can't destroy these. But if they start to pick up some sort of a culture, like mercantilism or production or whatever, there's a chance they are going to adopt a faction, which we'll come back to in a bit. Let's make sure we get ourselves a architectural office. I know I need that. And upgrading it would get me even more blueprints, but for now, level 1 will have to do. Probably should have gotten this before the cultural building, if I'm honest, but it's fine. Okay, that's looking good. What else might I want to unlock? Let's see. We probably want to go for the forum for some politics. I'll go ahead and buy that out. We should go for maybe the Agoge Center to get some education going. And how about an arena for some military prowess? And actually, you know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead and boost up how many blueprints I get. It's a little expensive. It'll take a while to pay for itself. Actually, now that I think about it, I can't even do the upgrade, can I? Oh, that was a mistake. I should not have done that because it isn't an automatic thing. We have to upgrade to level 2, and for that I need more advanced resources. Whoops, shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Well, let's start getting some other stuff. A forum. We have 19 people. We could place this over here. We can see the impact this would have on some of the culture, right? So if I were to place this up in this direction, 2 potential districts would be affected by the political factions, which could be nice. Maybe we want to control that a bit more, though, with like the Agoge Center over here. Yeah. I just want to leave some room for plenty of factions to get in. Let's get, how about belonging in our city? Now we sit back and wait a little bit for more population. Okay, we now have access to some new production buildings, the Carver and the Carpentry office. Also ramparts if we want to get ourselves some walls. Now, walls to me are not obvious why they're useful because I have not seen anyone attack you in this game, but I kind of think that is a thing that can happen, so we may want to consider that at some point. And actually, here comes our first faction. Okay, so over here we have the education set up. We can now click on this and see that the Collegium Scriptorum would like to move into my city. This would start boosting up some culture within my city with an education focus. We could also potentially get money from taxes. It would get me some cultural influence, which we'll talk about later. And we can also see exactly what these guys like. They like the Archivum and the Scola. Their trust goes up when you have these things built. Some factions do not like certain types of buildings or other features, so this is where you'll have to pick and choose based on what you think is going to be in conflict with the direction your city is going. In this case, I don't think there's any downside. We'll just go ahead and accept them. This gets me up to Chapter 5. Now we have access to even more cultural buildings. I would like to build an arena. That sounds like fun. How about right over here? And we will boost up, let's see, we're going to get some safety regardless. Let's go for esteem. Yeah, my people feel safe, and they feel better about themselves as people kill themselves in the arena. Over in this icon over here, we can now see the different factions that are in our city, and we can have a lot of them, for the record. Like, there are going to be a lot of different factions who don't always play nice with each other. We could also take a look at our cultural influence. Now, I'll be honest, I think this is one of the most poorly explained features in the game, and I don't fully understand it. But basically, the more cultural influence we have, the more we are able to spread our influence throughout the world, and good things can happen. Like, you know, getting better wonders, or more money, and more trust from all the factions, and so on. Anyway, I would really like to get myself a forum, if at all possible. That would be nice. I'll place that in a place where I can get some extra influence in a single district. Maybe right over here works. And we'll get a boost in more, I guess, belonging. Yes. Now let's see, I've got some blueprints coming in. What else do we want? Could get some upgrades for our existing buildings, but we could probably focus on a few new things, such as getting the carpentry and the carving up and a-running. Let's go ahead and unlock these first, just so I have access. And these do reduce attraction, so we've got to be careful about these, but now we'll be able to start converting stone into rubble, or wood into beams. Oh, we should also remember that I need to get myself these service buildings. Right, I did mean to do that. I need a lot more blueprints to unlock these. Okay, we'll come back to that. So let's see, if I wanted to build some walls, here's the ramparts, I believe. Yeah, there we go, we can see these. All right, so apparently this has some sort of an attraction view. Ah, okay. 250 over the entire protected area. So if I were to increase the proximity or something like this, it obviously gets very expensive, but it can make my people a whole lot happier. Can also kind of round things out a little bit, so it's kind of more like this. Yeah, that becomes a thing. I don't know if there's any reason to do this now. Attractiveness is nice, but I don't really want to build it around my farms. I'd prefer to have the farms outside the city. Well, let's go ahead and start getting some carpentry and stuff up and running. I don't know if there's any reason to place it next to your other buildings here, but we might as well just make this one very unattractive area. As long as we have the population for it, no big deal. New faction, a political one has arrived, the Heteris. Courtesans, led by Hipparchus, a greedy and manipulative man. Okay. Destiny trust bonus, apparently because I started off as a political origin. Extra culture, there's that influence we were talking about. They like the Domus and the Therme. I don't really see a reason not to accept it. Let's do it. Oh, and we have enough blueprints. Let's go ahead and get the Horaeum, I suppose. I need clay for that, though. I need clay no matter what we do. All right, we'll go ahead and unlock this, but now I know I need to start expanding a bit more. Let's get the surveyor cabin out over this way. And then once that's built, we'll get some additional quarries just so I can get myself the clay, and probably should go ahead and get the sand as well. In fact, yeah, we'll just go ahead and do that now. Selecting sand specifically. Done. All right, now clay production is going up. We'll build one of these as soon as I have enough resources. Ancient City Center improvement is available again. What does this take? Some of the beams and stuff. Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and boost up our attraction even further. Now the city center's starting to look pretty Roman. I don't know if we're actually supposed to be Roman or Greek. Everything seems Roman, but there's a lot of interaction with Greek stuff later in this game. All right, new rewards, tilery, brickworks, also more cultural buildings and service buildings, the Senatus. I need this to get decrees. This is a high priority building for me. Also, you can see exactly how much the radius of our city has expanded. Look at the farms which were on the edge before. Now they're way over here. Uh-oh, but two of our factions now have tension, increasing the risk of some incidents. Cool. What is going on over here? Looks like the the politicians and the scientists don't like each other. Well, we could expel one of the factions if we wanted to. I don't know really exactly how we're supposed to address this, though. Hopefully they work it out amongst themselves. I kind of doubt it, though. Let's unlock the Senatus as our next building so I can get some decrees up and running. That takes a lot. Fine, we'll build the Horaeum instead. Where can I place this? This gets me some craftsman influence somewhere, which we already have over here, but I don't think we've actually, got a faction, so we'll go ahead and place over here and just double down, I guess. Or maybe I can't actually fit this because of the road placement. Yeah, it seems that way. This is one of the things that's unfortunate about the roads. All right, now we have an event. The threat of Macedonia. Alexander the Great wants to conquer territory to gain access to the Aegean Sea. He wants to lay siege to Amphipolis and nearby Greek cities and sees me as an ally. I could assist him, or I could assist the Greek cities, or I could do something else. But the point is, regardless, I get some sort of a special cultural building if I do this. I can afford to lose the food, not a very big deal. I'm going to ask for help, though, and just get access to the Mysterium for the heck of it. Sounds fun. The choice we make apparently can shape the future of the game. I don't totally know what that means. We will get a follow-on event later, but what I don't know is, what is the impact in, let's say, the next age and stuff like that. Unknown. Military faction. Carthaginians! All right, well, we'll accept them anyway. Cultural influence has expanded. If we take a look, we are now a Vicus, however you pronounce that, I don't know. We've now got some decorative buildings called the Area, as well as some extra trust and better wonders, which I haven't been able to touch yet, but don't worry about it. Hey, look, the ability to place down these points has gone up. Like, may I just do this? Let's just try it. Obviously, this goes up based on this value here, which are these culture points. Hold on, let's take a look at these. We can use points to corrupt certain entities, or be a resource for a building, or get cultural influence. So I guess there is a reason not to spend the points. We just haven't unlocked anything else to spend them on yet, that I know of. We'll unlock the Macellum as well, so I could engage in trade. And good lord, there are a lot of cultural buildings to unlock. I have nowhere near enough! And I think this is where some of the replayability of the game is supposed to come into play. Right? Because you're going to be probably having to focus on a handful of different factions. You won't be able to get everything. So I imagine that you'll want to play lots of different times and play with lots of different factions around here. Let's get that Senatus built up. I did say I want this. I stand by it. Might as well put it over here, I guess. Seems like a good enough spot. We'll boost up creativity. We're going to get some health. Let's get, I guess, belonging. Sure. And the threat of Macedonia has resolved. All right, we sent emissaries to all influential communities and convinced Macedonia to stop doing its expansionist growth. Okay. All right, so there's now a non-aggression pact between Alexander and the Greek rulers. We get the Mysterium for free as a building. Research, I should say. Nice. It's very expensive. Otherwise, I'd love to build it. Anyway, there's my Senate. Okay, so with this new political building, we can actually go to our politics. And this is where we can set up decrees, and your factions actually have to vote on things. I need 4 factions to do anything right now, so I can't even establish a coalition government, but you get an idea what some of these can do. So, calls for appeasement, for example. Let's see, suspend the effect of political tension. That could be useful. Could also boost up our health satisfaction, or our wood production, or migration. The sale value of goods is increased, right? Creativity goes up, that kind of stuff. That said, I can't do much of anything until we actually get another faction in the city. I'm sort of surprised we don't have a 4th by now. Every playtest I've done, I've had one, but okay. Let's try placing down the Macellum then. Where, though? I'm kind of running out of space for good stuff, which is a problem. I guess we'll try over here. And that'll give me the option to start doing some trade. I really am starting to think we're going to need to relocate these farms here pretty soon. They're getting a little in the way. To get to the next level, what would I need? 900 people, huh? Yeah, we should be able to do that. Hello, another faction, the Hoplites. Okay, they like the arena and the Presidium. Okay, more culture. That's all good, sure. They probably won't get into conflict with the Carthaginians or anything, right? Anyway, we now should have a quorum. We can do some voting. All right, so let's see. Suspend some of these things. Safety, satisfaction, stop migration. Don't really need to do any of that. What would make sense here? Probably to start calling for appeasement, you know? So if we can say, hey, military factions, would you agree that they need to stop it? Can we do that? Like, it looks like the military factions are much more aligned with the political factions. 59% chance of success, huh? I don't even have enough money for this right now. That's why I need to get the trade going, which we do have now. So, okay, if I want to, we can go to our trade routes, and I should be able to buy trade routes and start selling goods. Unfortunately, I think it costs money in order to do this in the first place. But I can sell some stuff, so if I spend what little gold I've got left to do this, right, we should then be able to go and say, hey, let's sell excess rubble. I've got more than I need. Let's just do this every 20 cycles, we'll gain money. Which is fine, because for the rubble, I get 7 every 4 cycles. So that's 35 rubble every 20 cycles? Okay. So if I sell 20, I still make 15 for every 20 cycles, but now I'm also getting some money. Yeah, let's do this for now. This is fine. Now, one thing that I think is interesting, if I were to take a look at some of these different buildings, I will note that certain things have something called an evolution. I don't know what this means. If we were to get this building right here, an Ergasterion, for example, something else would combine with this to unlock a butcher's mail or an herbal merchant, right? Or we could have a castell, we could have a salt port, we could have the heart of political life, right? There are things here. I don't know what they do. And again, this is where some of the replayability comes into the game, because you're going to be experimenting, trying to find the right optimal combinations for things. Unfortunately, yeah, we are now getting way too cramped for just about anything of excitement. I think it's time to go ahead and relocate these farms. I'm going to do that now. Delete. Unfortunately, it does cost money to do things like this, which is annoying. Let's go ahead and demand appeasement so my factions stop beating each other up. And hopefully that vote goes my way. There's a very good chance it does. Decree accepted. Good, okay. Now we have Chapter 9. This accesses wonders, which is going to start feeling a little bit like Civ. The Circus Maximus, Library of Alexandria, Statue of Zeus, Trajan Forum, Sassi de Matera, and the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. Halicarnassus. God, why do I always say this wrong? Every time. I always do this. It's fine. So these wonders, you can only select one of each of these. We could have extra wanderers join our city, or we could say our culture buildings do not degrade during the passage of age. And I think I'll go for this one, even though this is overall probably it's actually the same cost. Yeah, there's no downside. But you can only choose one of the two. Again, trying to force some replayability into the game. Well, we should probably use my blueprints to go ahead and unlock the new production buildings we still don't have access to. So a brickworks would make sense. And a tilery. This will convert my sand and my clay into useful things. There we go. So we have a nice industrial center over here. I've also boosted my cultural influence once again. We are now an oppidum. Oppidum. Thing. I don't know. Hey, free money. I should be able to get some extra decrees because I did start off as one of the political factions, right? More migration, more people. Could be kind of nice, actually. Good chance this one succeeds. Quality control would be nice. 50% chance. Okay. I don't know exactly how to make these people a lot happier, though. You know, these different factions, I've already given them most of the things they say that they want. Oh, hey, a new faction. Production people. Cool, more culture coming in that way. These guys are quite happy already. Nice. Hopefully they can counter some of the other factions just a little bit. By the way, do you want to go ahead and fortify the city now? Kind of. Again, with the stupid farms being in the way, though. I don't love that. You know what I need, though? I'm kind of having trouble with food still. I think it's time to start upgrading our farms. Let's spend some blueprints and make this an option for me. And over here, I'm going to go ahead and convert this so we get more food per farm. Now, this does mean that I'm currently out of food. We burned through it very quickly. Our worries are up, but it'll go away. It'll go away. There we go. Now we're fine. I'm going to let this stockpile go up, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and move this farm out of here. Yeah, health goes down for a while because we didn't have enough food, but now we have enough, so we're fine. And then we'll just replace this right up over here. And we will also give this one an upgrade so we have more than enough food. Okay. I wish there were ways to kind of forbid certain placements for your farms. You could spend money to just get rid of this, and they'll have to relocate somewhere else. But, you know, like, let's say I don't want to have any farms over here at all. Just move them all out to the outside of the city. But you can't do that. Anyway, I do have enough resources to build the mausoleum, and I do want to do that, but I can't until I get a few more people. That would be a little bit easier to do probably if I upgrade to level 4 here with my city center. So let's go ahead and do that now. Kind of wish I had done that before I moved my farms, but oh well, that's fine. Another military faction, the Scipio. I can only imagine that going very badly with the Carthaginians. So I'm going to decline them. I actually don't know if that's the case. I'm just going with that as an assumption because, you know, history is a thing. Also, let's see, an area to boost up attraction. Yeah, a tiny little park, we could do that. Take 17 people to have a park? It's ridiculous. Oh, we could also go ahead and do these ruins. I forgot about this. Costs a bit, but I want to find out what happens. This I actually don't know. So we're going to see if we get some really cool bonuses. Maybe some free buildings? Or something? It is an officina pecuniaria. Oh, okay. Place where they coin coins and stuff like that. Yeah, mints. Sure. That's a lot of extra attraction. Plus a load of satisfaction. Hello. Well, I would like to go ahead and build up my wall, but now that we have enough people, we need to go for a wonder. It takes a long time to build these. Now, fun fact about a wonder, they cannot be built within the range of your city center. They have to be placed right on the outskirts of town. So I'm going to place this probably over generally here. So this is very costly, lots of attraction, but it'll take 200 cycles to build. Hey, we have enough wood, we can now go ahead and build our ramparts. I think something like this looks kind of good, right? We could do something like this. There we go. Sure, build it. 27 turns in order to do this. But we're not even halfway through with the game yet, and we're looking really solid. I think my score is going to be great. And there's my nice little defensive walls. Cool. Let's go ahead and repair this ruin as well. An Atrium Vestae. Sure, I don't need any particular satisfaction. What do we think we're going to want? How about more health? Ooh, and I'm getting capped out on all of my resources. All right, we need to do some upgrades. That's what we need. Let's get a Scola, I suppose. Sure. And maybe the Via Deificum? Evidicium? I don't know. Of course, wait, I can't place these around the dang walls now, can I? Oh, frickin' heck. This is where having, like, nice, really small districts and cultural buildings is quite helpful, I suppose. All right, a building is running out of resources. This quarry is running out of stuff. Really? There's not as much sand? Huh. Okay. Good to know. Can I swap what you produce? We could do clay, since that's all I've got over here. I guess that's what I have to do. That means I need to move down here to the sandbar. Let's get another surveyor's cabin. There we go. Problem solved. Only 85 more turns until the mausoleum is built. Gain another round of cultural influence. All right. Even more bonuses from wonders. More trust. I'd like to think that more trust means that people are more likely to do their voting for me, but gosh, look how unhappy these people are. The tension was removed, and they're still super angry at each other. Kinda nuts, actually. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and have to start expelling some factions, I think. Get rid of the Collegium, which sucks, but I can't afford to keep dealing with this. And goodbye, tinsmiths, I guess. I don't know. I don't like that I had to do that, okay? Orphics are at the gates. More religious. Sure, why not? Let's get some more trade routes set up. I would like more money. You can buy resources you might struggle with, like clay, food, sand, and so on here. Tiles, blah, blah, blah. What do I have a big excess of? Tiles, bricks? Yeah, Sparta. Let's unlock this and get some more trade routes going. Is the caravan not an automatic repeating thing? Does this only happen once? Might be how this works, actually. I could be wrong. You get the money instantly, by the way. So, I think, yeah, if you need money, just go and do some one-off trades. I don't think it's a permanent trade route. So, decrees, I can have up to 4 of them. Huh. But, like, if they don't last for very long and I have to fight people to get these through the votes, I'm not sure how easy this is. Maybe starting off as the political faction was the wrong choice. Totally possible. I don't know. Anyway, there's my mausoleum! Hooray! At this point, we could now progress directly into the next age. But that I don't have to do. Well, here's the thing. You don't have to change age right now. We could continue playing with what I've got in Antiquity, but I think the extra turns that I've got would roll over into the next age. So progressing early now would get me into the, I think, medieval or high Middle Ages a little bit faster. That said, not a high priority. There's other things we could do that are quite fun still, like maybe getting more wonders. Who doesn't want the Circus Maximus, or the Trajan Forum, or whatever? Besides, remember, this is a way of actually boosting... Oh my god, it's huge. This is a way of boosting up your borders quite a lot. Why is this so big? You guys weren't freaking kidding. Circus Maximus, indeed. Well, screw it. I'm placing it. It's cool. And honestly, I'm going to build as many of these things as I can, because I think that could be kind of nice for us. What do we have here? A carnival! People are happy, because, you know, the thing got built. So we can see everyone throwing confetti in the air and littering their city. More freaking tension! What now? I need more ways of dealing with this. More ways of resolving tension before it becomes such a problem. Oh, God. Fine, goodbye, Orphics. It was nice knowing you for a very brief time, but if you're gonna cause problems, get out of here. What if I wanted to build another wonder? The Library of Alexandria. Screw it, we'll build it over here. Cool. Lots of wonders, lots of score. I will be very influential. Just call me an influencer. Remember, our goal here right now is to get up to 2,000 population so I can get up to level 5. We haven't done a lot of other upgrades for our various different buildings, by the way. There are things we could do. The Sophists. They hate the Spartans and the Proletarian. I don't think I have either of them, do I? On installation, they will offer me the Archivum as a special building. Yeah, okay. And they like the library. Sure. I'm gonna keep getting more cultural buildings while I can, just because I feel like it's the right thing to do. Also, this festival has been spreading throughout the city. It's quite the revel. And I'm doing so well on resources, I don't really need to upgrade anything, which I find kind of funny. So we won't worry about it. 2,000 blueprints if I want to get myself another wonder. I mean, if I'm going to have these things placed, I make sure we get everything down before turn 1,000. Otherwise, I won't be able to finish them in time, presumably. Another faction, the Wine Growers. How can I say no? Let's unlock the Statue of Zeus. Now we have 360 turns left before the end of the age. That's 160 turns before I'm going to run out of time. I'm getting 17 blueprints per cycle. That means we do have enough time to get all of the other wonders. Okay, we have a chance to get our 5th wonder. Ha ha! This is ridiculous! I will be such a prestigious society! You can't stop me! I'm out of food. I'm being stopped! Quickly! Build a farm! People are feeling anxious! Music is sounding a lot scarier all of a sudden, too. There we go. Starting to get more. There we go. We're in the positive. And here comes my Circus Maximus. My culture expands again! Well, we get a new carnival as a result. New faction, the Deme of Megara, want to join. Sure. And we have new senators. New factions have taken over. Okay, it's the military factions plus these guys. Cool. Curfew, safety satisfaction, closing the gates. I don't really like the decree system. The fact that it is so limited in its time makes it feel like it's not super worth the cost. Still, let's go for quality control. People seem to trust me quite a lot on this. And if I sell stuff, I can get 20% more money. I need more storage buildings. I'm getting capped out on all these resources, and I know I'm going to need more. I don't even think... Yeah, I can't even store enough resources to get enough rubble and wooden beams. Huh. How are you supposed to get around that exactly? I guess I could just place down more of these. Even if I don't need them, I think it does increase my storage capacity by a little bit. Yes, it does increase the capacity by a bit. Is that enough? No, it is not. Oh my. That doesn't feel quite right, does it? But okay. Let's get the Trajan Forum unlocked. Done. Oh, it's actually cheaper than it used to be. Nice! Okay, we gotta place this somewhere. Whatever. Over here's fine. Just get myself as much space as possible. New political faction. The Plebeians of Rome. Alright, just get along better with the previous faction, okay? More cultural influence. I'm an herb. Now I have everything I need. Level 5. Begin! There's my statue of Zeus. Looking dapper, buddy. And someone's intention again, for God's sake. Who now? Oh, great. All right. I'm going to get rid of the wine growers. The plebeians of Rome trust me implicitly. Oh, we immediately get a new one. The Sassanid dynasty. Sure. Hey, I hear some people just moved out and there might be some cheap real estate available. Yes, Sassanids, welcome aboard. I don't know how many of these cultural buildings I really want to get. I feel like I'm supposed to get as many of these as possible. Again, I don't know what they combine with, and maybe it, like, transfers over to the next age in an interesting way. I'm not sure. All I know is I have grossly overshot the needs of my citizens. Gosh dang it, Sassanids! Fine. Heteris, you're out! And I have reached the final stage for cultural influence, the Caput Mundi. Alright. I feel like at this point, we've gotten about as far as you literally can. I can get more blueprints to grab like 1 or 2 more culture buildings, maybe. But with only 32 turns to go, 33 turns left to go on the Trajan Forum, that's kind of everything in this age, I think. I guess I'll try getting the Proletarian as my last building here, just so I can say I got every Tier 2 cultural building in the city. There we go. All right, one final thing done. Only about 28 turns left before the end of the age, and we have done an absolute ton. Now, I'm actually going to save the transition to the next age for the next video because I think that's going to be interesting. But this is enough to at least give you an idea what the early game looks like in Memoriopolis. You see what I mean about how I said this is kind of a little bit of a puzzle city builder? It's not quite as simple as just place down roads, let things build up. That all happens on its own. But you do still need to do a little bit of planning. Where are all your service buildings going to go? Your cultural buildings? What do you want to focus on? What do you not? How do you get the maximum number of resources and your blueprints and your points in order to get, I guess in this case, as much prestige or cultural influence as possible? And it looks like we found a really, really good balance that worked out great for us. Now all of this is going to transition into a totally new era. So pretty interesting idea for a game. Now here's the one thing I say is a complaint. And it's that the game is kind of short. There are 4 ages in the game. What you just saw was less than an hour and a half of me playing the game to finish this entire first age. So in theory, you'll be able to finish the entire game within 7 hours or less. So that's where this game, I think, is going to live or die based on the replayability. And I'm curious to see if it's going to have that sort of long-term vision and whether it's going to be balanced enough to pull that off. We will find out. In the meantime, though, this at least looks beautiful. Like, this is a really cool idea. Frankly, I wouldn't mind just a Roman city builder, but I'm curious to see what the next age is going to look like, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please consider hitting that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time in Memoriopolis.